They say a mother's love is unconditional, but what happens when that love is a cage? In a home built on obsession and broken dreams, something wicked is about to break the shell. Prepare yourself for the descent into the madness of hatching. It starts in a picture-perfect home, where young Tinja is grinding through her gymnastics practice. Her mother is busy capturing every moment, curating their life into the perfect family vlog. But the facade cracks the moment the recording stops. A strange, frantic noise echoes from the window. Tinja rushes over to find a smear of fresh blood on the glass. She pushes the window open, but a crow immediately invades the house, thrashing through the living room in a chaotic, desperate frenzy. Despite the bird's erratic movements, Tinja manages to corner it and gently traps it under a cloth. But before she can even think about releasing it, her mother snaps into action, grabs the bird from her, and, with chilling, calculated force, snaps its neck. She tosses the lifeless creature to Tinja, coldly ordering her to dump it in the trash. Tinja, a girl with a tender heart for animals, is visibly crushed, but she begrudgingly complies, heading outside to discard the bird. Even though she leaves it in the bin, the creature is somehow still clinging to life. Back inside, Tinja spots their new neighbor, Rita, playing with a pet dog in the yard. But when Tinja later tries to pet the animal, it lashes out and bites her. Despite the pain, she refuses to blame the dog, insisting it was her own mistake. That night, after singing a lullaby to her younger brother Matthias, Tinja's mother sits her down to review the day's footage. When Tinja mentions the new neighbors and their dog, her mother shuts her down instantly, pushing the conversation back to the gymnastics competition. It's clear that the gym life isn't Tinja's dream. It's a burden her mother is forcing her to carry. Later that night, restless and haunted by the day's events, Tinja sneaks out to the trash bin. The crow is gone. She follows a trail of pained, guttural squawks into the dark woods nearby. She finds the bird lying on the forest floor, suffering. Realizing the broken neck is an injury it can never recover from, Tinja picks up a heavy stone and ends its misery for good. But as she stands there, her flashlight hits a nest nearby, revealing a single, abandoned egg. Burdened by the weight of having killed the parent, Tinja makes a choice. She scoops up the egg, slips it into her pocket, and brings it back to her room, determined to take the place of the mother she destroyed. The next morning, Tinja heads off to her gymnastics practice. Tinja was giving it her all at gymnastics practice, but she just couldn't nail that final landing. Her coach laid it out plain and simple. If she didn't stick the move, she was out of the competition. When her friends invited her out afterward, she turned them down, choosing to run home instead. But when she walked through her front door, her world shattered. A man named Taro was in their living room, and it was painfully obvious her mother was cheating on her father with him. Tinja was devastated. That night, her mother tried to gaslight her, spinning a web of lies about how adults have special friends and that she should keep this to herself. She even bought Tinja a new dress, a bribe to keep her quiet. Tinja played along, pretending she didn't care, but the betrayal cut deep. A few days later, her mother returned from a business trip, though Tinja knew exactly where she'd really been. She wanted to scream the truth to her father, but the words just wouldn't come out. Retreating to her room, she checked on the egg. It had grown to an impossible size, far too massive for any normal crow. She hid it inside her teddy bear and snuck it to practice. Her mother was there too, watching with a predatory intensity. When the neighbor's daughter, Rita, performed better than Tinja, the jealousy in her mother's eyes was clear. With only one spot left in the competition, her mother pushed her to the brink, drilling her until her hands were raw and bleeding, fueled by nothing but a sick desire to showcase Tinja in her vlog. That night, the cycle continued. Her mother forced her to watch the footage, bragging about how she'd fallen for Taro and was planning another getaway next weekend. Tinja couldn't take it anymore. She fled to her room, collapsed against the egg, and sobbed. As her tears hit the shell, it finally began to crack. But what emerged wasn't a bird. As a terrifying, clawed hand tore through the shell, Tinja scrambled into her closet, paralyzed with fear. This wasn't a crow. It was something monstrous, a twisted, bird-like human hybrid. When the creature locked eyes with her, Tinja screamed. Her father heard the commotion and started toward the room, but the beast shattered the window and vanished into the night. Yet, moments after her father left, the creature crawled back inside, and as it stared at her, the terror of what she had hatched finally set in. But as the creature whimpered, Tinja noticed a jagged shard of glass embedded in its hand. Her fear dissolved into empathy, and she carefully pulled it out, tending to the wound. In that moment, a bond was forged. The creature didn't see a threat, it saw a mother. Tinja bathed and cleaned the grotesque thing, tucking it under her bed before singing it a soft lullaby, playing the role she had subconsciously chosen. But the night turned dark. Tinja was jolted awake by the frantic, relentless barking of Rita's dog outside. The noise was unbearable, a piercing signal that the creature couldn't ignore. It slipped out into the shadows and, in a brutal blur of violence, returned moments later dragging the dog's mangled carcass into the room. Tinja felt a visceral, telepathic link to the kill. She knew exactly what had happened. When she saw the blood-soaked body on her floor, she retched, overcome with nausea. But in a stomach-churning display of instinct, the creature began to consume the vomit, mimicking the way a bird feeds its young. The next morning, while Tinja was frantically burying the remains in the garden, her little brother Matthias caught her red-handed. He immediately dragged their father to the room to expose her. They found Tinja lying under the bed, a bizarre sight that sent a jolt of confusion through her father. But when he spotted a smear of blood on the sheets, his face softened into an awkward, misguided relief, assuming it was just Tinja's first period. He hushed Matthias and pulled him out of the room, completely missing the nightmare unfolding inches away. The following day, Tinja ducked into a pet shop to buy bird feed for her secret charge. By chance, she ran into Rita and her friends. Rita invited her to walk home, and for a fleeting moment, the weight of her secret vanished as they laughed and talked. But the guilt came crashing back when Rita pulled out missing posters for her dog, plastering them across the neighborhood. Tinja watched in hollow silence, paralyzed by the truth she couldn't utter. Back home, her mother, ever the performative parent, gifted her a hairbrush, oblivious to the toxicity brewing in her own house. Matthias, now fueled by a mix of suspicion and deep-seated resentment, spotted one of the missing posters. He marched into the garden, dug up the carcass, and dragged it to the center of the house. He threw the body down in front of their parents, screaming that Tinja was the one who had killed the neighbor's pet. His parents, blinded by their own dysfunction, refused to believe his delusions, dismissing it as the work of wild animals. They shooed a furious, ignored Matthias back to his room, but the damage was done. Matthias wasn't just angry. He was consumed by a toxic realization. His mother didn't love him. She only had eyes for the golden child, Tinja. Driven by a toxic cocktail of jealousy and betrayal, Matthias shoved his way into Tinja's room, hell-bent on exposing her. But as he crossed the threshold, he felt it. A chilling presence in the shadows. He dropped to his knees to peer under the bed, and in a flash, the creature lunged, nearly tearing him apart. Out in the hallway, Tinja collapsed, paralyzed by her telepathic bond to the beast's rage. She scrambled to her feet and sprinted into her room, desperate to stop the chaos. She screamed at the creature, demanding to know why it dared to attack her family. But before she could get an answer, her mother burst in. The mother tore through the room, checking under the bed and ripping open the closet, but found nothing. Then her eyes fell on the dress, the beautiful, expensive gift she had given Tinja for the competition. It was shredded, ruined, a literal mess of fabric and filth. Her fury was cold and absolute, and she stormed out, leaving Tinja alone with the monster. Tinja, seething with anger, locked the creature in the closet. But the motherly instinct, twisted and perverse, won out. Minutes later, she opened the door, chewed up some bird feed, and fed it to the creature mouth to mouth. She named it Allie. That night, as Tinja slept, Allie slipped out of the room. It crept to the mother's bedside, its long, spindly fingers tracing her hand and thigh. When the mother woke, she was greeted by a thick, sticky residue on her skin and a single, shed feather resting on her sheets. Her bedroom door stood wide open, a silent invitation to terror. She grabbed a kitchen knife, her heart hammering against her ribs, and stepped into the hallway. Suddenly, Matthias came sprinting out of the darkness, sobbing and clinging to her, screaming that Tinja was hiding a monster. But the mother, trapped in her own delusion, simply dismissed it as a nightmare, refusing to see the rot spreading under her own roof. By the next day, the metamorphosis was accelerating. Allie was becoming disturbingly human. Tinja carefully brushed its hair and dressed it in her own clothes before leaving for the gym. The pressure at practice was suffocating. Rita was flawless, and the mother was relentless, whispering venom into Tinja's ear, telling her that if she wanted to win, she had to destroy the competition. The hatred that curdled in Tin Jae's heart toward Rita flowed through their telepathic tether, straight into the mind of the beast. As they drove home, a sickening realization hit Tin Jae. She saw Rita walking alone on the sidewalk, and she could feel Allie lurking in the periphery, ready to strike. Panic took over. She begged her mother to turn the car around, to stop the car, to do anything. But her mother ignored her, oblivious to the impending bloodshed. In that split second, the restraint broke. Allie descended upon Rita, and the slaughter began. Tin Jae arrived home, her heart stopping when she saw Allie. The creature's beak had fully emerged, a grotesque testament to its true nature. The next morning at breakfast, the facade of their perfect life shattered completely. Her mother didn't even flinch, casually announcing that they were heading to Taro's place. Tin Jae was stunned, but the real gut punch was her father's reaction, or lack thereof. He knew. He had known all along, choosing a hollow, suffocating silence over the confrontation he dreaded. The trio reached Taro's house, and the reality of the situation twisted the knife deeper. Taro had a daughter, little Helmi, whose mother had died in childbirth. Watching her mother shower Helmi with an affection she never bestowed upon her own daughter was a slow, agonizing torture for Tin Jae. That night, Allie tracked her down, slipping into the house and curling up next to Tin Jae in bed like a dark, secret shadow. The next morning, the breakfast table was thick with tension. Tin Jae was a ghost, barely present, until her mother stepped away to take a call. Taro, sensing the hollow void where a mother's love should be, tried to lighten the mood, engaging Tin Jae with a warmth that felt disorienting. But the fragile peace was obliterated when the mother returned. Shed heard the news. Rita had been brutally mauled by an animal and was in the hospital. Tin Jae rushed to the ward, but the sight of Rita, broken, battered, and barely holding on, shattered her world. In a sudden, frenzied fit of terror, Rita grabbed Tin Jae's hand and began screaming, a visceral reaction that sent Tin Jae bolting out of the hospital, gasping for air. Back at Taro's, Tin Jae collapsed in her room, raw and shaking. When Allie emerged, Tin Jae exploded, screaming, "Why did you do this to her?" The guilt was a physical weight, and she began lashing out, slapping herself in a desperate frenzy. The telepathic tether was absolute. Every blow Tin Jae dealt to herself, Allie felt an agonizing sink. But the creature didn't retaliate. It pulled her into a cold, suffocating embrace, holding her until she drifted into a troubled sleep. When she woke, the world had shifted. Allie wasn't just a monster anymore. It was a perfect, chilling replica of Tin Jae herself. The transformation was complete. Tin Jae stepped out of the room, shell-shocked, to find Taro waiting. He was disturbingly kind, offering her gifts and words of encouragement for her upcoming competition. Lost in a surreal, waking nightmare, Tin Jae began to demonstrate her gymnastics moves for him, performing like a puppet on a string, oblivious to the fact that her double was watching from the shadows. Taro watched the awkward routine, his expression softening with realization. This wasn't passion. It was a performance for an audience of one. He saw through the gymnastics, recognizing that Tin Jae was being crushed by her mother's hollow ambitions. Their conversation was cut short by a jarring, predatory shriek from inside the house. Tin Jae bolted for the room to silence the creature, but Taro was right on her heels. He reached for the doorknob, insistent on finding the source of the noise. The door swung open, and there stood Allie, the perfect, mirror image clone of Tin Jae. Before Taro could process the glitch in reality, the creature lunged. Taro scrambled back, his hand catching in the door frame as it slammed shut, mangling his grip. He barely managed to rip his hand free, reeling away in terror and confusion. When Tin Jae finally emerged, Taro was frantically bandaging his crushed hand. Desperate, Tin Jae broke down, begging him to say nothing to her mother, offering anything in exchange for his silence. She was on the precipice of confessing everything when her mother swept in, demandingly shoving a camera into Tin Jae's face, barking orders for a routine to boost her blog. When Tin Jae stumbled, the mother's rage was explosive. The shouting woke little Helmi, and the mother immediately switched to a sickening display of affection, cooing over the child with a tenderness she had never once shown her own daughter. From the shadows, Allie watched, its eyes burning with a jealous, bird-like intensity. Competition day arrived, but Tin Jae's mind was a battlefield. She knew Allie was watching Helmi. She knew the creature was hunting. As she went through her final stretches, her mother busy framing the perfect shot for her followers, Tin Jae felt a sharp, mental pull. She could see through Alice's eyes. The creature was closing in on Helmi, gripping an axe. Panic surged through her. Tinja knew she had to break the connection. As she stepped onto the mat, she didn't perform. She plummeted. She threw herself into a brutal, intentional fall, shattering her own wrist. The agony was instantaneous, and across town, the feedback loop hit Ali like a physical blow. The creature's grip on the axe failed, and the weapon clattered to the floor. Back at the house, Taro walked into the room to find the clone standing over the discarded axe. He still thought it was Tinja, his mind reeling from the betrayal. When the mother and daughter finally returned that evening, the confrontation was nuclear. Taro stood in the doorway, pale and trembling, pointing a finger at Tinja. He looked the mother dead in the eye and delivered the ultimatum. Your daughter tried to kill my child. Get out and never ever come back. Taro's ultimatum was the final nail in the coffin. He severed ties with Tinja's mother instantly. The drive home was a blur of pure, unadulterated rage. Tinja's mother, broken by the rejection, began slamming her head against the steering wheel until her nose fractured, blood pouring down her face. She blamed every ounce of her misery on Tinja, maintaining a suffocating, hateful silence for the rest of the journey. Back home, the house was a pressure cooker of resentment. When Ali tried to crawl back through the window, Tinja, now pushed to her absolute limit, brutally shoved the creature away, sending it tumbling to the ground where her father caught a glimpse of it, mistaking it for his daughter. Meanwhile, in a grotesque act of performative denial, the mother began filming her vlog, masking her blood-smeared face with a fake, manic smile. When Tinja appeared, the mother's mask slipped. She shrieked at her daughter, disgusted by a phantom stench she claimed was coming from her. Tinja fled to the bathroom, but the horror wasn't finished. Her mother stormed into Tinja's room, spotting Ali huddled in the closet. Mistaking the monster for her daughter, she began, in a deeply unsettling display of forced care, to brush its matted, filthy hair. When chunks of hair ripped out under the brush, the creature snapped. It lunged, sinking its talons deep into the mother's back. Tinja burst out of the bathroom just in time, yanking the creature away. For a heartbeat, the room went silent as the mother stared, paralyzed, at two identical versions of her daughter. Ali prepared to strike again, but Tinja finally stood her ground, screaming at the creature to leave. The rejection shattered Ali. It let out a soul-piercing shriek, its jaw tearing open as if the very fabric of its face was dissolving. It retreated into the shadows, leaving the mother in a state of catatonic shock. Tinja finally confessed everything. The egg, the nest, the birth, and the nightmare she had nurtured. Driven by a desperate need to erase her mistake, the two women armed themselves with kitchen knives, hunting the beast through the halls of their home. Ali exploded from a cupboard, ambushing the mother, but the mother fought back with lethal precision, stabbing the creature in the leg. As the mother raised the blade for the killing blow, Tinja's maternal instinct, the twisted, tragic bond she had forged, overrode her fear. She threw herself in the way, trying to shield the creature. The blade didn't hit Ali. It plunged deep into Tinja. As life drained from Tinja's body, her blood spilled across Alice's lips. The contact was a catalyst. The creature's ruined, torn face began to knit together, the wounds vanishing as it fully transcended into human form. It looked at the mother, and with a voice that mimicked Tinja's own, whispered, "Mommy." The mother froze, caught in a terrifying loop of her own making. The tragedy was rooted in the mother's own broken history. Flashbacks revealed the truth. Many might wonder if Ali was just a figment of Tinja's fractured mind. But make no mistake, this wasn't a hallucination. Ali was a physical, breathing nightmare. When Tinja cradled that cold, abandoned egg, pouring her hidden tears and suppressed agony into it, she wasn't just grieving. She was breathing life into a monster. Those tears, that loneliness, and that deep-seated resentment fed the creature, fueling its unnatural growth into a tangible, lethal entity. Tinja and Ali were two distinct, separate beings, the girl and the beast, bound by a dark, telepathic tether. In the film's tragic climax, as the mother lunged with the blade to finish the creature, Tinja threw herself into the strike, shielding the monster with her own body. But as Tinja lay dying, her blood spilled across Alice's lips. It wasn't just blood. It was the final consumption. In a sickening metamorphosis, the creature's jagged, bird-like features smoothed over, its wounds knit shut, and it emerged as a flawless, living replica of Tinja. In the end, The mother got exactly what she had obsessively hunted for, a perfect daughter. But the price was the soul of her own child. The real Tinja was gone, replaced by a cold, hollow shell built from her own insecurities and rage. As the creature looked up at the mother and whispered, "Mommy," the cycle of toxicity closed. The girl had been consumed by the monster she created, all because her mother loved an image of perfection more than the daughter standing right in front of her. If the story gave you the chills, hit that subscribe button and join the community. I've got plenty more dark tales waiting for you. Check out the rest of the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.